Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Juss and I'm back with another upload. In today's upload, we do another compare and contrast type of video. And the two shoes that we'll be focusing on today is the 361 BB BioSpeed and the Nike GT Cut 1. I call these like twins kind of because they kind of remind me of each other. Maybe because they're white and they kind of just look alike. But with that being said, let's get into the sneakers, man. Before we get into these two titans of sneakers, I want to first say thank you guys for tuning to another upload. And with that being said, please like the video. Also comment, let me know what you think. With that being said, I also post every Sunday, sometimes on Saturdays for extra content. But with that being said, let's get into the sneakers. Alright, so seeing as though I just did a review on the BB2, I'm going to start off with the GT Cut 1. With that being said, as always, I'm going to start off with the traction. The traction that could be found on the GT Cut 1 is a solid rubber traction setup. Talking about the traction on the GT1, I can say this is a top tier setup, 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10 category of traction, well rating I should say. Whenever I played on a dusty court, I had to just wipe a little bit, but for the most part, I stuck to all courts I played on and one of the best traction setups from Nike. With that being said, I rate this traction setup a 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10 traction. Also to know, if you play with these outdoors, you will kind of burn through the traction that's on this shoe, because even though it is a solid rubber, it does burn through really quickly if you do play outdoors with them. So I would say keep these indoors for the most part. But if you got the money to buy two pairs, one for outdoor, one for indoor, I would definitely recommend. But with that being said, let's go on to the next thing. Next on the GT Cut 1s, we're going to talk about the materials. The materials that could be found on the GT Cut 1 is neoprene and mesh. Talking about the materials, it is very breathable and it is very light. I had no problems playing this shoe. If anything, it molded really good to my feet. And it's one of the best shoes that's out from Nike, other than the price point. In terms of the traction and the materials, so far those are the two categories that we're talking about. It is a 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. There are no problems with this. You'll be well ventilated. You'll be perfectly fine. And with that being said, I'll rate this also a 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. In this section of the video. Next on the GT Cut 1s, let's talk about the cushion. The cushion that could be found in GT Cut 1s is a React drop-in midsole with a full-length Zoom strobel and a Zoom Air unit in the heel. Alright, so talking about the cushion, I'll say that the cushion is really good. I had no problem. There's a lot of compression in the heel area, which is good for impact protection, which is also something that I am rating now when I do my performance test. With that being said, the impact protection and the comfortability and the break-in time is really good on the shoe. There is no break-in time. You will come down really smoothly on landings, and while you're walking in this shoe, the step-in comfort is really good. Therefore, I'll rate the cushion a 9.5 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. Really good cushion, materials, and traction setup, for sure. Next, we're going to talk about fit and support. In terms of fit, you guys know me. I go true to size. I don't go half size up or down. I heard, though, for wifers, they should go half a size up. But again, I am not the reviewer for half size up or down. That's just never been me. I've always got my shoes true to size. So that's just a disclaimer for the people watching this video. Talking about the support, you have a TPU clip and a TPU shank that holds you really well. This shoe does not have a carbon fiber plate, but the TPU does hold you well. I did hear that some people did have like pinky problems, or well, I should say people had pinky toe problems playing in this shoe. I personally never had these problems, but I'm just letting you know just in case you're thinking about buying this shoe. With that being said, the fit does feel good and the support does lock you down really securely. I would say these are a low top, but I've seen lower shoes, so I'll give it like low mid type of, love. I'm not gonna say it's like an extreme low shoe, but it's not extremely high either. So with that being said, in terms of fit, 10 out of 10, and in terms of support, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Now that we did that, let's go to the BB2. Yo, if you made this far into the video, don't forget to like and comment. And if you like what you see from this video so far, consider subscribing. Again, I post every Sunday and, sometimes on Saturdays for extra content. But with that being said, let's go into the next sneaker. All right, now talk about the BB2. Even though I just did a review on these shoes like last week, let's just quickly gloss over everything. In terms of traction, as always, is a RPU polyurethane type of traction setup. It does feel really good. It sticks to every court I've ever played on, whether it was dusty, clean, barely well kept, extremely dusty. It don't matter. The shoe held up really well. Does it pick up dust? Yes. All you gotta do is wipe, but for the most part, you are sanctioned on every court you play on. 10 out of 10 traction setup from 361. Next, we're gonna talk about the materials. The materials that could be found on the BB2 is a Z-thread, which is this right here on the shoe that basically is configured in a certain way for best ventilation, lightweight, and support. Talking about the materials, chef's kiss. There's no problem. There's no break-in time. Again, like I already stated, these are two titans of a shoe. So, trust and believe there's not a lot of cons to this shoe. Continue on with the BB2 though. Again, materials are just amazing. 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. There's no break-in time. They mold to your feet well, and you'll have no problems playing them once you do get them, or if you do end up getting them. Next, we'll talk about the cushion. The cushion that could be found on the BB2 is full-length foam, which is called Quick, but it is spelled some weird way that I cannot spell right now. But with that, talking about the cushion on the BB2, I'll say that it's fantastic. Again, amazing cushion, no problems. It's kind of like a runner in a way, which I do believe the BB2 was made as like a basketball slash runner type of shoe. So that would explain why the shoe is very comfortable. But for the most part, it is really good, very fun, doesn't bottom out. And I had a fun time playing in them. Next, we're going to talk about the fit and support. In terms of fit, I'll say go true to size. I don't go half a size up and down. You guys know this already. And I've heard that wide footers should go half a size up, but I've also heard that some wide footers have gone true to size and felt perfectly fine. I would say go to VJ Sneakers. You can use my discount, but besides that, they give like a good detail about the shoe, like if it's wide foot friendly or not. So definitely go over there. You could go to 361 if you want to, but I just know when I did go on VJ Sneakers, they was able to like tell me everything I need to know in terms of like wide foot friendly, what the shoe comes with, and it was very detailed and like amazing. And as you guys know already, I have a code with them, so if you go check out, hit discount code, put Juss Anderson, you get 10% off and free shipping. Besides that though, in terms of fit, the fit is really good. I had no problems, no heel slippage, no nothing. In terms of support, there is a full-length carbon fiber shank, and there's also a TPU on the lateral sides and on the upper. And talking about those two things, the stability for me was good. I never rolled my ankle, didn't have a problem coming down from like a hard landing or sprinting or stopping on a dime. Shoe supported me really well and the fit was really good. With that being said, I'd rate this a 9 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 for both things. All right, so now that we made it to the end of this video, I'm gonna put these shoes down. I'm gonna give y'all one more good look at them. Okay, y'all can see. Let me get a little bit closer. All right, cool. We good? We good. I bet. All right, so now we made it to the end of this video. I'm gonna finally give you my personal opinion on the Nike GT Cut 1 and the 361 BioSpeed BB2. In terms of like how good these two shoes are, I feel like you can't go wrong with either shoe. Personally, to me, they're kind of like close cousins or stepbrothers in a way where like, obviously they're from two different brands, but they feel drastically or kind of the same that like, if you have both pairs, you can like feel like what they have in common and what feels different. So for the GT Cut 1, here are the differences. For me, obviously the shoe's a little bit heavier. Not too heavy to the point where it's like, damn, these are like heavy on my feet, but they are heavier. Most of that heavy feel is in the heel area, as you guys can see, because it does have a fat heel, pause. But for the most part, it is comfortable. Impact protection is really good. Obviously, the traction is good on both shoes and stuff of that nature. But I'm just talking about the differences in both shoes. And obviously, it's the weight, the price, and obviously, like, where most of the compression goes to and, like, how the shoe is sculpted, okay? With that being said, this shoe comes to like 180, 190 plus tax, like 200 something. So obviously this is an expensive shoe, but with it being expensive, it is worth that type of money. I'm gonna be completely honest. The GT Cut 1 is worth the money that it's worth. Anything over 200 is a drag, but for what Nike has it retailed as and like how high of a demand the shoe has, it's worth the money. It is a really good shoe. And I would say if you have a chance or if you have the money to get it, I'll definitely say get it. What I would say about this shoe is that also, listen, it is worth the money, but at the same time, don't forget you have to break the bank to get this shoe. You feel what I'm saying? Is it worth the money? Yes. Do you need to get it as soon as possible? No. They're going to come out with different colorways. They have a Dylan Harbaugh colorway. They got multiple colorways coming out. So the shoe's coming back. It's in high demand and people's going to want it. Okay? Anything over 200 is a drag. Please don't do it. But the shoe is worth that type of money. And again, I'm here to help you out so you can get shoes that are just as good as this one for less money. But with that being said, this shoe is a 10 out of 10. It is fantastic. Now let's get into its counterpart or stepbrother or close cousin, which is the 361 BioSpeed BB2. What I would say is that this shoe is significantly lighter. They kind of sculpted it in a runner shoe type of way. Personally, to me, when I step into the shoe, this part of the shoe kind of curves a little bit up. So I do run on the forefoot of my foot a lot. And I feel like that's why that curvature is there because, again, this is like a basketball slash runner type of combination that 361 is doing. And I feel like it worked out for someone like me because I do tend to run a lot. I'm not really a high flyer, but I do run really, really fast. So this shoe works in my favor. And I feel like that is really good. Not only that, this shoe's like $159, and if you go on VJ Sneakers and use code Juss Anderson, you get that 10% off and that free. Obviously, shipping is going to be lower. It's going to be like $149, maybe $130, who knows. But if you go on VJ Sneakers and look for this shoe, you could definitely get them for like cheaper than $159 for sure. And again, it is just as good as the Nike GT Cut 1. Both shoes are amazing. I want to put, matter of fact, both shoes are amazing. Don't get me wrong. The only difference is how they're sculpted, how they, not even how they feel, because they're both mad comfortable. Obviously, how they're sculpted, obviously the price point, and obviously the weight. But for the most part, both shoes are amazing, flat out. There's no other way to put it. Now that we made it to the end of this video, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in to another upload. And if you're looking to just be like, yo, Juss, like, what shoes should I go with? I'm going to say this. If you have the money, get the GT Cut 1. If you don't got the bread, go for the 361 BioSpeed BB2. At the end of the day, you're covered with both shoes regardless. You have my word. You'll be perfectly fine no matter which shoe you go with. It all depends on what your pockets is looking like. All right? Cool. With that being said, thank you again for tuning in to another upload. It's your boy Juss Anderson. Again, comment on the videos. I'll respond back to you. Or you could DM me at I am Juss Anderson. But with that being said, peace and love, family. I'm going to see you on the next one, man. Don't forget to subscribe. See y'all. Peace.